Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel and to my humble recording room, where today we'll be discussing about the transit of Jupiter into the sign of Pisces, right? So we all know Jupiter holds two signs. One is Sagittarius or Dhanu Rashi, and the other is Pisces or Meena Rashi. And Sagittarius or Dhanu Rashi is the Mool Trikon Rashi of Jupiter, whereas Pisces is the other home, we can say, of Jupiter. And Jupiter transiting into the sign of Pisces is a very welcome transit, I would say, because like we discussed in the previous videos, for past 2 years Jupiter was in a very bad spot, either in conjunction with Ketu, Saturn, very uncomfortable, or debilitated in conjunction with Saturn. And from December or mid of November 2021, it's relatively much better in the sign of Aquarius. But now Jupiter would be transiting into its own house of Pisces and would be much comfortable there. Now Jupiter represents many positive things, as we know. Jupiter represents, gurus, spiritual knowledge, material knowledge, higher education, right? Traveling, marriage, children, finance, many good things are represented by Jupiter. And Jupiter holds, one of the best houses. It is the karka for one of the best houses in the horoscope, like, the second, fifth, ninth, 11th house. So Jupiter is a very important planet, and because Jupiter was quite disturbed in a very unstable state, we have seen a lot of bad things happening in the past. But now Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces is a very welcome move. We can see a lot of good things happening all around the world, right? So before I start, my predictions are completely based on Vedic astrology, and it's based on either the Lagna or Ascendant or the moon sign. So you can look either ways. It makes more sense to look from the Ascendant, because as I said in my previous video, the transit from Ascendant represent the physical manifestation of the results of that particular planet. So physically, how is it going to impact us, right? So what kind of results we can expect in our life, whereas the moon sign is much to do with our emotional state, how the transit is going to impact our mind, right? And I have provided the timestamps in the description section. So if you don't want to listen to the introduction, which I would insist you to listen, you can straight away go to the description section and click on the timestamp. It will take you directly to your ascendant or moon sign, right? So let's start off. Now the sign of Pisces is a very relaxed sign, very peaceful sign, and because it is the 12th sign in the Kal Chakra Kundali, it represents transition from the material world to the spiritual world, right? So from the material realm to the other dimension or the spiritual dimension. So Pisces in one way represents, connecting with the with the source, connecting with the higher powers or God, and it represents spiritual practices, meditation, and it's a very peaceful sign. And Jupiter is also very happy to be in the sign of Pisces, right? And when Jupiter transits to Pisces, it's going to give excellent results. Now the only downside of it, which I can understand, is it makes a person very imaginative, intuitive, and also a person will be very relaxed, right? So this can be sometimes little problematic, but again, these things are quite good for some of the fields, like cinema fields, people especially who are writers and actors. This imaginative nature and imaginative thinking will help them a lot, right? So let us start ascendant by ascendant. So let us start with the Aries ascendant. So for Aries ascendant, Jupiter is going to transit into your 12th house. So because Aries represents the natural Kalapurush chakra, it is obviously going to transit into your 12th house, and Jupiter is a lot of 9th and 12th house, right? So one clear indication is the Lord of ninth house in the 12th house, which is its own house, represents travel. So if you're a student, or if you're working, and if you're trying for visa or foreign settlement, or planning for travel, or have been looking for travel from long time, then this is the right time, I would say. You can try to get visa, or if the visa is in the process, you can see things happening quite fast after the 12th of April 2022, when Jupiter transits into the sign of Pisces, right? So things would move in a positive direction. Your visa issues will be resolved. You will travel, and you will be very happy traveling to foreign lands, or even traveling at a national level, right? Now, as I said earlier, this is also a very good transit for spiritual people, spiritual minded people. You can connect to the higher powers. You can get into meditation, and people who are interested in reading philosophy, reading books like the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, this is an excellent transit. You can get into that mode, and you would like that engagement a lot, and you'll also gain a lot of knowledge from it. So it's a very good transit, and especially students who are involved in studies, higher studies, this transit is going to help you a lot. So now, sitting in the 12th house, it is going to aspect the 4th, 6th and the 8th place from itself. So with its 4th aspect, with its 5th aspect on the 4th house, it's going to resolve issues at your home, if you had any. The environment at home would be much better. The health of your mother would be much better. Your dealings with the mother, your relationship with the mother will improve a lot. And if you had any plans of purchasing any property or renovating, and if you are running a very favorable dasha and Jupiter is originally in a good spot, then you can also purchase a good property during this time, or renovate your house. Now, Jupiter is also a lot of your 6th and 8th house. So if you had any health issues, so this is a time where you can take the health of this Jupiter and get it resolved, right? So it's a good transit. Now let's go to the second sign of Taurus, or Vrishab Rashi, or Vrishab Lagna. So for Taurus or Vrishab Lagna, this transit is happening in the 11th house, right? So the Lord of 11th house is now in the 11th house. So such a wonderful thing, right? Now Jupiter is the Lord of your 8th and 11th house, and one way, if we look at a different angle, the Lord of 8th house is in the 11th house, which is also very good, which indicates gains from unexpected sources. This is a time where you can get into some research work. If you are a student, you can get into research work. People involved in research, they'll make tremendous progress during this period. Monetary gains from different sources or unexpected sources is on the cards, right? Now, the Lord of 11th house is in the 11th house. So this represents, very good gains from your profession. Now, for Taurus ascendant, Saturn is going to come into your 10th house, right? So the Lord of 10th house in the 10th house, Lord of 11th house in the 11th house is an excellent combination. So overall, this year is going to be very good from the professional perspective. So if you are planning to change job, you can plan to do so, because Saturn is going to help you in that, and Jupiter is going to make sure that you are going to get an excellent package. You are going to work very hard, and you will get a lot of respect and good name in your organization, and chances of promotion are quite high during this period, right? So an excellent time for Taurus ascendant. Sitting in the 11th house, it's going to aspect the 3rd, 5th and 7th houses. So when Jupiter aspects the 3rd house, your communication is going to improve a lot. Your relationship with your siblings is also going to improve, and if you are planning to start something new, this is the right time, because 3rd house represents starting of something new, some new ventures. And to support that, Saturn is in the 10th house, so the Lord of profession in its own house, and Jupiter, the gains from the profession in the 11th house. the Lord of 11th house in the 11th house, right? So an excellent combination if you are planning to start something new, right? And when it aspects the 5th house, so this 511 axis would be activated. If you are in the profession of speculation like share market, and the other planets like the Lord of 5th house is comfortable, and originally Jupiter is in a very good spot or an okay spot, then it's going to help you a lot in speculation or share market, or any other speculative business. Also very good time to learn new things. Your relationship with your children is also going to improve a lot, and the Jupiter's ninth aspect on your 7th house will ensure that your relationship with your spouse will be back to normal, right? So for Taurus ascendants especially, when Ketu transited into your 7th house, so this happened in September 2020. So from that time, there is a lot of disturbance in your marriage. So you can see, your relationship with the spouse is not so a happy one, I would say. There are some disturbing points, and there is quite isolation. So all these issues would be resolved by the aspect of Jupiter, by the ninth aspect of Jupiter, right? So Taurus friends, ensure that you utilize this time. So Saturn would be transiting into a 10th house on 28th of April, and July again it's going to come back, to your 9th house. But again after 4-5 months, it's again going to go to your 10th house for good, staying there for almost 2 years. Excellent time. Make use of this time, because it's a very rare combination which we are seeing, and it doesn't happen every time, right? So make use of it. Now coming to the third sign of Gemini, or Mithun Lagna or Mithun Rashi, right? Now Jupiter is going to transit to your 10th house. So the Lord of 10th house in the 10th house, right? And like we discussed earlier, Saturn is going to transit into your 9th house on 28th of April, and then stay there for 3-4 months, then come back, and again after 3-4 months, it's again going to come back to your 9th house, right? And Rahu will be in your 11th house. So Rahu is also going to transit to your 11th house, right? Rahu does very good in the 11th house. Now for Gemini ascendant people, you have suffered a lot in the past 2 years. It has been a rough ride for you, but this is going to be an excellent transit, right? So the Lord of 9th house in the 9th house, Lord of 10th house in the 10th house, and Rahu in the 11th house, right? So this is an extraordinary transit, I would say. You have to utilize this time to best of your capacity. So if you are running a decent or even a moderate dasha, then this transit of these 4 planets is going to give you a lot. So plan properly for it. Now coming to Jupiter, because Jupiter is a lot of your 10th house, and it is getting into 10th house, right? It's going to give you a lot of opportunities at your work. You will be very happy doing what you will do. I mean, if you are going to get any project, or if you are going to get into a new job, then you will get a work where you will enjoy doing it, and you are going to get a lot of returns from there, because Rahu is in the 11th house. So in this 1 year, from 12th of April 2022 to April 2023, so this 1 year is going to be a very excellent year from professional perspective. Utilize the time, because in this 1 year you can achieve a lot, and you can also get lot of gains from your profession. You can also get promotion, probably by end of this year or starting of the next year. You are sure to get promotion also. So utilize this year. This combination is again a great one. Your 9th, 10th and 11th houses are going to get activated, right? So one of the best transits for you guys. Now Jupiter sitting in the 10th house will aspect the 2nd house of Cancer, where Jupiter gets exalted, right? So again, the 2nd house is also going to get activated. So one way, if you look, Rahu is going to activate your 11th house of your wealth, and Jupiter is going to activate your 2nd house of wealth and savings, right? So both the Kama houses, or both the wealth giving houses, are getting activated. right? So, and Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer, which is your second house of savings. Excellent period, excellent financial gains. You will be able to save a lot of money. And Jupiter sitting in the 10th house will also aspect your 4th house. So the environment at home will be very good, very conducive. Your relationship with your mother would be very good, excellent. Your mother's health would be wonderful. And again, if you are planning to purchase any new property or renovate your house, and if you are running a decent dasha, then you can do it, right? So Jupiter will also aspect your 6th house, and Jupiter, till now your 6th house was very badly affected because Ketu was in your 6th house. Is still in the 6th house, but by 15th of April, Ketu would be moving out of your 6th house into a 5th house. So sitting in the 6th house, Ketu was giving you some of health issues which were very difficult to diagnose, right? Now when Jupiter comes and aspects the 6th house, it's going to remove all the issues which Ketu had given you. So you'll see your health is also very good, and your daily routine or your timetable which had gone completely off track will come on track, and you will be able to have control of it, right? So an excellent transit for Gemini people. Please use it. It's a very rare transit because all your 9th, 10th and 11th houses, the 3 important houses, are going to get activated. So I'm repeating this again and again because it's an excellent time, right? So please use it. Now for Cancer ascendant, Jupiter would move into your 9th house, right? So being in your 8th house, so right now it's in the 8th house, from 20th of November 2021 to till now, it's in your 8th house, right? And it is lot of your 6th house as well, because 6th house is Sagittarius or Dhanu Rashi, and it is the Mool Trikon Rashi of Jupiter. So the lot of 6th house in the 8th house, I'm sure you are getting some health issues or a lot of health issues, losses, monetary losses, sudden events happening, things going out of your control. So these things are happening. So once Jupiter moves out of your 8th house into the 9th house of Dharma, where Jupiter is very comfortable, so your health issues which are which Jupiter is inflicting would be completely resolved, and you will be much healthier and much happy, right? And sitting in the 9th house, Jupiter is going to aspect your ascendant, your 3rd house and your 5th house, right? So all the Dharma houses are now being activated by Jupiter, because the 1st, 5th and the 9th house are known as the Dharma houses. So this is a time where you will actually seek some spiritual path, or if you're into a spiritual path, then you try to learn something new or advance in the spiritual path by taking guidance from your respective gurus, or if you don't have a guru, then this is a time where you can actually aspire to get a proper guru, a bona fide guru, and you will get it because Jupiter is in the 9th house, a very good house, right? And this also indicates travel. So travel on pilgrimage, travel to foreign lands, if at all you are planning. If you are in any types of loans or debts, then this is a time where you can repay them. Try to repay and try to close as much as possible, right? Health would be resolved, health issues would be resolved, and you will feel a lot of confidence, and you will be much happy during this period, because Jupiter is aspecting your ascendant, health issues would be resolved, and again it's also aspecting the 3rd and the 5th house. So overall an excellent transit. Now coming to Leo ascendant, Jupiter, which is the lord of your 5th and 8th house, would now get into the 8th house, right? So the lord of 8th house in the 8th house is very good, because if you had any health issues, then Jupiter is going to bring those health issues to the surface, and Jupiter is going to resolve those health issues, because generally it is said in astrology that when the 8th house lord comes into the 8th house, the aim of that planet would be to increase the longevity, and the way it increases is bringing out the hidden issues to the surface and then resolving the issues. So if you had, or if you are having any health issues right now, when Jupiter comes, and initially it might seem that Jupiter is giving you health issues, but actually it's not that Jupiter is giving you health issues. It's actually bringing out the health issues on the surface, so that you will know what are the issues, and then you can actually act on it and get rid of them, right? So Jupiter also gives sudden gains from the 8th house, right? Because it's in the 8th house, it also gives sudden gains, because sitting in the 8th house, it aspects your second house of savings and money, right? So Jupiter is capable of giving you sudden gains, sudden monetary gains. If you had any issues with the ancestral properties, then this is the time you can actually sit and resolve those issues, right? A good time. Now the Lord of the 5th house is now coming into the 8th house. So people who are seekers of occult knowledge or astrology, this is a very good time. So again, utilize the time. A very good transit for you. So utilize the time. It's going to be a good one. Now for Virgo ascendants, this transit is going to happen in your 7th house. So Jupiter is a lot of your 4th and 7th house, two Kendra houses, and Jupiter is causing the Hamsa Pancha Mahapurush Yog. So it is causing for 4 ascendants. One is Gemini and second is Virgo, right? When Jupiter comes to your 7th house, it resolves any marriage issues you had, because Saturn sitting in the 5th house is capable of inflicting some issues in your married life with your spouse. So when Jupiter comes into the 7th house, the Lord of 7th house in the 7th house, then obviously it has the capability to resolve all the health issues. So people who are not married and are looking out for a suitable partner, this is an excellent time. Lord of 7th house in the 7th house, right? So there cannot be a better time than this, right? And because Jupiter is also Lord of your 4th house, so there are good chances of purchasing any new property along with your spouse. So if you're planning to start any new business venture, then it's going to be a very good one, right? And Jupiter is going to help you a lot in your profession as well, right? So an excellent transit for you as well. And sitting there, Jupiter is going to aspect your 11th house of gains, your ascendant, and your 3rd house, right? So gains, you can expect that during this period you'll get very good gains from your business or from your profession. And if you were expecting any promotion and it was getting delayed, then this is a time where you can expect promotion. Your health is going to be much better, and your communication would also be very good. If you had any issues with your siblings, then this is the time where you can resolve those issues, and things would be better, right? Now for Libra ascendants, this transit is going to happen in your 6th house. So the Lord of 3rd and 6th house is now coming into your 6th house, right? So Jupiter is not very comfortable in the 6th house. It loses its directional strength in the 6th house. This is going to be a medium transit for you, I would say, because it's Lord of the 3rd house also, where Jupiter is not very comfortable there, right? But sitting in the 6th house, because its 6th house is its own sign, right? So it has to protect its own house. So you had any health issues, it will help you to resolve that. Any pending court cases, it will surely help you to get back on track. And sitting in the 6th house, it will now aspect your 10th house. So this is a time where if you are planning to get into a new job or search a new job, then you can actually get into a new job, right? Also it also aspects your 2nd house. So it also implies one way that you can acquire wealth either from new job or by winning court cases which were pending against you, right? So even ancestral property, the dispute in ancestral property can be resolved, and a good possibility that you might get your proper share of your ancestral property. Now, coming to Scorpio ascendants, this transit is happening in your fifth house, and Jupiter is a lot of your second and fifth house. So, two very good houses, and Jupiter is Karaka for second and fifth house, right? So, excellent transit again for Scorpio ascendants. So, what you can expect is you can expect people, especially who are in the field of cinema and acting, this transit is going to be a very good one for you. And if you are planning to learn any new technology or getting into a new field, then this transit is going to help you a lot. Now, if you are into share market, or if Jupiter is placed well in your birth chart, then this is that, and you are running an okay dasha or a good dasha, then this is a time where you can get very good returns from the share market or speculation, because the lot of second house in the fifth house is a kind of dhani yoga also, right? So if Jupiter is placed well and you are running a decent dasha, then you can try investing in share market, because you are going to get excellent returns during this period. You can see your network circle being very active. You'll be very active in the network circle. You'll be meeting with good people, and your network circle is going to increase. And also, being in fifth house, it is going to again aspect the ninth house and the 11th house. So if you had any plans to travel, yes, this is the right time. And this is also a time to seek any spiritual path if you are interested, because both the dharma houses, the fifth and the ninth house, are getting activated by this transit of Jupiter, right? If you had any health issues, then Jupiter can help you to resolve those health issues, and monetary gains are on the cards. It's going to be a very good transit. If you are planning for kids, then this transit is going to help you to have kids, because Jupiter is a lot of your fifth house. Fifth house also represents children, and Jupiter is also the lot of your second house, which represents expansion or family. So if you are planning for kids, then this would be a wonderful time for you to plan for kids, right? Now, coming to Capricorn or Makar Rashi or Makar Lagna. Sorry, I think I skipped Sagittarius. So coming to Sagittarius or Dhanu Lagna, this transit is happening in your fourth house, right? And Jupiter is creating the Hamsa Pancha Mahapurush Yoga. So Hamsa Pancha Mahapurush Yoga is a wonderful Raj Yoga, and it helps you in multiple ways, right? It helps you in expanding your business, in getting into new business or new job, and it also helps you to get a lot of good returns from your business or from your job. So now the lot of your ninth house or lagna is getting into the fourth house, an excellent period, right? So this is the time, if you are planning to purchase any property, then this is the right time for you to purchase any renovation, or if you're planning to purchase any vehicle, then this transit of Jupiter will help you to purchase new vehicle or purchase house or renovate your house, or build a new house from the scratch. Health of your mother is going to be very good. Your relationship with your mother is going to be excellent during this period, and you will get all sorts of comforts, right? Now, sitting in the fourth house, Jupiter would be aspecting your 10th house, right? So again, it's going to help you in your profession, on your professional front. So any plans for job change, this would be the right time. So you can plan for that. Also, Jupiter is also aspecting your 12th house. So this indicates that if you are in foreign land, and if you are planning to have some property, then this is going to help you, because Jupiter sitting in the fourth house is aspecting the 12th house. So it helps you to acquire property in the foreign land as well, right? So overall, a good transit for Sagittarius or Dhanu Lagna people. Make sure you utilize the time very effectively. Now, for Capricorn or Makar Rashi, this transit is happening in your third house, and from third house, so Jupiter is lord of your third and 12th house, and Jupiter would now be in the third house, right? So Capricorn people are already under tremendous stress due to the presence of Saturn in their ascendant or over their moon. So if it is your moon sign, then obviously you are under Sade Sati and Saturn is already putting a lot of pressure. Now the transit of Saturn will ease out many things, but this transit of Jupiter will help you to a certain extent. But one thing is, your expenses would rise during this period, and you might travel to various places. So if you have any plans to travel, you can travel to different places. Also, this transit will help you to get into spirituality. If you are interested on that front, it is surely going to help you. Your communication would be very good. You will have a very intelligent type of communication with people, and your relationship with your siblings especially would improve a lot. Now, sitting in the third house, Jupiter is aspecting your seventh house and ninth house of dharma. So if you had any issues with your spouse, which surely you might have had, because Saturn sitting in your ascendant, right, surely was giving you health issues, issues with your spouse. So this transit of Jupiter will help you to sort out those issues, because Saturn would be getting out of your ascendant or out of your moon sign, and then Jupiter sitting in the third house would be aspecting the seventh house, and it would try to do the damage control. So this is a time where you can fix issues with your spouse if you had any, and if you had any plans for marriage, then you can plan for plan to find a suitable partner. This is a good time for you to get married, right? Now for Aquarius ascendant or Kumbh Lagna people, this transit is happening in your second house, right? Now Jupiter is a kark of second house as well, so and this transit is going to be very good, because Jupiter is a lot of your 11th and second house. So both the wealth giving houses, Jupiter is a lot, and the lot of 11th house in the second house indicates one of the Dhanu yoga. So if originally Jupiter is placed well in your birth chart, then this transit is going to give you a lot of wealth, and this wealth will come obviously from your profession. So it indicates, probably you will get into a new job, or you can get into a new line of business, or you can improve your current business. So it's going to give you excellent returns. A wonderful time, I would say, for Pisces ascendant. You can actually utilize your time, because sitting in the second house, it also aspects the 10th house, and it will help you in your profession immensely, right? Now coming to Pisces ascendant, right? So Pisces ascendant, the Lord of your ascendant is coming to ascendant, so an excellent time for you. And being there again, Jupiter would be aspecting your 5th house, your 7th house and your 9th house. So the dharma houses, 1, 5, 9 would now be activated, and these three houses are also known as the Trikona houses, right? So three Trikona houses, and first house is also considered as the Kendra house. So first and 7th house are the Kendra houses, right? So a lot of houses now would be under the control of Jupiter. I wouldn't say control, but Jupiter aspecting these houses will create a lot of positivity, on these houses. And the trine houses and 2 Kendra houses would now get the required strength and encouragement to give you proper results, right? So it's going to be an excellent transit for you again. So utilize this transit, because this kind of transits are quite rare, especially on the wealth front, as well as getting back your life on track, because you might have experiences some losses in the past, but this transit is going to give you a lot of good things in your life. So utilize it. Your health issues, if any, would be resolved during this period, and you can expect very good gains from speculation as well, and from your profession as well, right? So guys, these were some of my thoughts on the transit of Jupiter into the sign of Pisces. So if you like my video, you can subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, meet you again with another interesting video. Thank you so much for watching.